Hi guys, Trevor Swenson with Through the Darkness. Good to be with you, and I'm glad you're with me. One of the important things of walking through PTSD, trauma and stressor-related disorder, and addressing your unresolved trauma in your life is a great therapist. And I just wanted to give my 2 cents and my observations in the years that I have been in therapy on what makes a great therapist. One of the things that stands out to me, and I've been blessed with phenomenal health care and phenomenal people in my journey with PTSD, and I've mentioned in an episode earlier that there have actually been 16 different providers for different areas of my healthcare that were all tied to PTSD. None of which I replaced, all of which were there for very specific parts of the journey, whether it be cardiology or endocrinology with the diabetes that I developed because of my heavy drinking, or my primary care provider and their staff, and the people that were at the check-in and assessment at the Recovery Plus, and the psychiatrists and the psychotherapists. I've had a real good experience and a wide experience with therapists. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I have found in people that is so amazing to me, and maybe would be things that you would think about as you take that powerful first step in addressing your own unresolved trauma. I can confidently tell you today that outside the grace of God and my wife and great health care, there is no doubt that I would be sitting here in front of this camera talking to you. And I've been very, very open about my faith, and I've been very, very open about my purpose, having been allowed to go through what I've gone through, which is to help other people, to help encourage other people to take that first step to get care. There are incredibly talented doctors and therapists out there whose lone passion in life professionally is to help to see you well, to help to see you healing. And I have been blessed with some great ones. So I just wanted to give you some qualities and characteristics in therapy, the people themselves, and the characteristics that stood out to me that were so helpful and healing. The first one is they hurt with you. They have an innate ability to come to where you are, to be in disbelief of the strength and the will that you have shown to even be where you're at today. They acknowledge the battle. And the same goes for people outside of the provider community, those lions, as I like to call them, that are in your life, that applaud you for the endurance and the perseverance and the courage that you've shown in your fight. What a great quality to have in a therapist. They want to fight for you. They are all in, and they have a perceived personal interest in your story and the details of your story. They want to know as much as possible. They want to know all of the details that will make their care for you that much more dialed in and specific to who you are. There's an overwhelming sense of love for the individual. It's almost like when you walk into a good therapist, you feel like you are their only client. You are their only patient. You are the only one on their schedule ever. And they have a way of making you feel like you are the person that they are at work for the day for. And that has happened to me numerous times. They remember your story. They remember your details. In spite of their enormous panels, some of the people that I've worked with I know are very, very busy people, especially in today's society. Yet they remember names in my story. They remember circumstances in my story. They remember lengths of time. They remember things that were going to happen after my last appointment and ask me how it went since my last appointment. There's a personal touch that makes you feel like you indeed are worth fighting for, which you are. Regardless of the health care that you are receiving or going to receive, you are worth fighting for. I love therapists that are able to relate on a personal level as well with what you might be walking through. I love therapists that are able to give you encouragement because of their experience and what they've seen. I love it when a therapist quietly sits back as you tell your story and simply smiles and nods their head. And when you ask them why they're smiling and why they're nodding your head, they give you that overwhelming sense of confidence that you are in a situation, that you are in a position in your life that they have seen before and that they are confident that they are able to help you with. I absolutely love it when they see the person in you and when they're able to look past the face and the name and they're able to grab on to that will inside of you that is shrouded in the things that you might be struggling with, and they help pull them out for you. Validation. I'm going to be doing a piece on validation for people outside of your healthcare community. They're able to validate your experience, and they're able to use science and experience to explain that you're not losing your mind, that what you're going through is what happens when someone goes through what you went through. Just the validation of that, if you think about that, what happened to you and what is happening to you right now because of it, there is scientific evidence and volumes of research that have been done on its effect on you right now. And for me, I actually have a degree in biology, chemistry, and geology, so I enjoy studying biology. I enjoy studying why and how I developed PTSD. And being with these professionals, I challenge you to get your buck's worth, if you will. Study ahead of time. Do some research on your own. Not diagnosis, not medicating, not therapies on your own. do some studying on trauma. Do studying on what happens to your body when it experiences trauma, and learn about trauma. Inform yourself, because I will tell you that trauma's worst nightmare is a well-informed survivor. And I feel like I sit across from you today as somebody who has spent literally hundreds of hours studying PTSD, so I can understand it better and I can make sense of flashbacks, so I can make sense of hypervigilance, so I can make sense of self-medication and hopelessness and my irritability and my mood swings and my depression. So it can make sense to me on a biological level as I think about how my brain works. And I'm going to do a piece on what I have found out for myself about how my brain works and how my brain has been injured. But when you get with these incredibly talented providers that have thousands of hours of working with people that are hurting like you are hurting, it gives you an overwhelming sense that, yes, you may be in the darkest valley, like I feel like I am right now, but I also know that I am simply walking through that valley just as you are, that you are not alone, that there are people that, even though people outside of your health care may have been the ones that let you down, may have been the ones that led to your trauma, may have been the ones that invalidated your trauma, but a great therapist gives you an overwhelming sense of you are not alone and I am with you. Which brings me to my final point. There's also somebody else that is always with you and always has been, and that's God. And I can only speak of my own experience with God and the incredibly powerful and nothing short of supernatural things that I've experienced in my own life. And I can also try to picture myself in the position I'm in today with PTSD and the things I've been through. And I try to picture what it would have been like to not know that there was a God that was exponentially bigger than PTSD, that had his hand on me the entire time. PTSD may be bigger than I am. PTSD may be stronger than I am at times, but PTSD will never be bigger or stronger than God with me. And I want you to know that. And I also want to challenge you boldly that if you haven't asked God to be part of your journey through unresolved trauma, PTSD, trauma and stressor-related disorder, God is somebody that is longing to have nothing but your heart. He simply wants your heart, and he wants to be part of the journey with you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. He will never let you down. And he is a never-ending sense of comfort through the darkness. He is a very real presence to me as well. He is the great physician. He is the great therapist. He is the perfect example of what a physician and a therapist should look like, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about the traits and the attributes that were so cool to me in the therapy that I'm receiving and have received and the care that I've received, that they really do mirror something a lot bigger than the individual doctors and therapists that they are. They mirror your creator and my creator in their absolute best traits. I hope that you take that powerful first step and that bold first step to get help. If you haven't, please do that. Please make that step, no matter how humbling or how scary or how uncertain you are or how relevant you think it is or how much you think you need the therapy. Err on the side of talking to somebody professionally. I will tell you, it made an enormous difference in me being able to sit right here tonight. This is Trevor Swenson with Through the Darkness. Remember, we're moving through the darkness. We're not setting up camp in the darkness. We're not staying in the darkness. It's dark, but we're moving through it one step at a time. Keep moving. Never quit. Click subscribe. Share this with somebody who might be hesitant about getting professional help. And I can't wait to talk with you next time. Take care. Be well.